Hey, it's Endymion, and oh boy, was the last few days a doozy for me. Yet again, I found myself as the main character on Twitter for having an opinion as I got attacked by tons of people for claiming that the way Siri was depicted in Witcher 4 was completely messed up and broke lore. Also, they're banning people for speaking out against this too. So I want to address the attacks, and new info is being released and more, and beyond this, there's more info on Naughty Dog's next game that will surely lose them even more money, and I got some insider info given to me on Intergalactic specifically. Alright, let's get into it. Firstly, yeah, I was attacked relentlessly these past few days, nothing new when it comes to who I am, I'm used to it, and I feel even more vindicated thanks to the comments, both negative and positive, that were being thrown my way. I said that Siri looked weird, she didn't look like herself, that the DEI agenda that I already exposed that has seeped its way into every corner of CD Projekt Red already would have long-term effects on the company. People yelled at me, hell, the CEO of CD Projekt Red attacked me for pointing it out. Then I had to make a whole video showing people how DEI is absolutely all over CDPR, and then that narrative magically changed. Yet here I was, showing you in real time another example of this happening with Siri, and then people got mad at me. It is what it is. But there's a lot going on over there. Firstly, IGN had an exclusive interview with CDPR on Witcher 4, and they confirmed some things that made a lot of Legacy fans go, wait, what? Let's read it together. So Sebastian Kalemba, the game's director, it's this guy on screen right here in case you don't know, spoke to IGN about the future of Witcher and where this was all going. Pretty much he confirms that yes, Ciri is the main character. Geralt is taking a back seat, and there's a new trilogy planned surrounding her as the main character. As I said in previous videos from well over a year ago, I have no problem with Ciri taking over the franchise. I literally said in those older videos that you can find on my channel if you look them up, that it only made sense for her to take over the main character role from Geralt, especially considering Witcher 3 near its conclusion started dealing with different dimensions and all that stuff. And obviously, in case you don't know, Ciri is the Lady of Space and Time. She can use her ancient elven blood to magically tear holes in reality to go to other places. I literally stated in those videos well before this premiere that the game's codename, which is Polaris, made complete sense with Ciri as the main hero. Polaris is an actual real star that is outside in our own cosmos right now. Polaris is also considered the star that is used by real-life navigators because no matter where you are in the world, Polaris remains in the same spot always, making it a real-life handy tool that you can use to always dictate where you are in the world, because in case you didn't know this, it's actually really cool, Polaris always points north. I know it's crazy that such a real thing exists in our world, it's amazing even, I find it incredibly fascinating. And it made sense why CDPR named the project Polaris, cause replace the star with Ciri and it's kind of the same thing. A shining beacon in a sea of darkness that always leads forward, always able to find itself no matter where it is. Ciri can tear holes in dimensions, it all makes sense, she is our North Star guiding the player on her journey through the other realms that are out there. For God's sakes, the whole point of Witcher 3 is that the Wild Hunt wants Ciri because of her unique elven blood travel powers. I called this all out a year ago, and surprise, I was right. I don't want to toot my own horn too much here, but hey, I do my research in case you haven't noticed. So I have zero issue with Ciri being a main character here since she was always the main character of the books, technically too. In terms of the games, maybe not so much, I mean she doesn't really show up until Witcher 3 of course. But in terms of the actual mythology of this world and what it represents, yeah, Ciri has always been a mainstay. I know a lot of games are removing male heroes for female ones, I've made it very clear that I dislike that a lot too. PlayStation especially has been doing this for years, and we'll get to Intergalactic later of course, which continues this trend. But in Witcher 4's case, I made an exception because logically, it made sense to go this way. However, there's other issues that have sprouted out that have caused people to raise their eyebrows and go, wait, what? Let me explain. At one point, the game's director explains to IGN, last we saw Ciri, she was a young woman facing her destiny. But now, as depicted in a new cinematic trailer shown at the Game Awards 2024, Ciri is a fully fledged Witcher hunting monsters for profit. Kalemba explains that following the events of The Witcher 3, Ciri has undertaken the famously painful Trial of the Grasses, which has mutated her into a powerful and resilient warrior. She's ready to take on a whole new journey in The Witcher 4, which is the first part of a planned new trilogy of single-player open-world RPGs. This here is probably the biggest WTF lore-breaking thing they've done so far that we know of. Yes, Ciri's face looks weird, and there's really no denying that, and I also find it hilarious that even when you place actual side-by-side comparisons, people just ignore it like they always do because they're dummies. Also find it funny that recently CDPR announced a new statue of Ciri that they're going to sell that looks how she should actually look, as you can see on screen here. Yet they completely change her face and bone structure in Witcher 4, but they know deep down nobody wants to buy the new Ciri face model as a statue. But people love the old Ciri, so they're playing both angles here. I'm not stupid, CDPR. I see what you're doing. Going back to Ciri becoming a Witcher thing, well, okay, here's the thing, alright? In case you don't know, Witchers are made via this process called the Trial of Grasses. It's pretty much a horrible experimental process that involves alchemy potions burning your insides until they can handle the poisons that Witchers drink to give them enhanced abilities to, kill monsters. But it doesn't stop there, as there's stuff like the Trial of Dreams too that can further enhance someone, but here's the thing. The trial has an insanely high mortality rate already. Something like 3 out of the last 10 Witchers that were born years ago within that world actually survived the process. The mortality rate in female Witchers, however, was always 100%. They never survived the process. Even the boys barely survived. So as you can see, this trial isn't exactly your super soldier serum from like Marvel. Because 9 times out of 10, everyone who undergoes this process, they die an excruciatingly painful death. This is why children specifically are targeted for these experiments, because their bodies are more adaptable and heal faster than older people. Ask anyone over 30 how their back or their joints feel compared to when they were 10 years old. They'll tell you exactly what I mean. So kids would get subjected to these experiments because of their adaptability. Adults pretty much never got the process given to them. Because, let's be real, no rational thinking adult would willingly undergo the radical transformational process to become a Witcher knowing the risks. Because if you told some 30-year-old dude, yeah, so we strap you down and force literal poison magical alchemy stuff down your throat, and you're going to be in more pain than you've ever been in your life, and there's like a 99% chance you just end up dying for nothing. Of course, no adult would do that, which is why children are chosen, because they really have no choice. They're being forced into it. Nobody that became a Witcher wanted to. I mean, you can't have kids anymore if you even survive it anyway. Your entire body from the inside out, it changes completely. So to hear that Ciri becomes a Witcher here, I mean, my question is, of course, why would she do this? The only rational explanation is CDPR comes up with some scenario where she is cursed or something with some sort of life-threatening illness or something. And they say, oh, we give her the trial to purge the sickness, I guess. I mean, we do know that Avallac'h went through the trial to change him from his gross Uma form back to who he was. And I think that this is where CDPR is going to bend the rules. Avallac'h survived the trial to bring him back, and he was an adult, but he wasn't human. He's an elf, a powerful one at that. Of course, Ciri has ancient elven blood in her, so she's like half elf, I guess, if you will, so it's likely that CDPR will use this loophole to explain that actually Ciri can become a Witcher even though she's a woman because she has this magical blood that can survive the process. But this also spits in the face of a few other things. For one, it makes the events of Witcher 3 feel less meaningful overall. Because the entire point of that game, or really the entire series like books included, is that Geralt is constantly trying to save Ciri from not becoming like him. Because in case you don't know, Ciri was trained as a Witcher, although somewhat unsuccessfully. For example, she was trained how to do Witcher signs by Geralt and Vesemir, but it didn't exactly work and they kinda just gave up on her. And the same thing happened with Yen and Triss trying to teach her magic. It kind of worked, but not really either. Although at least when it came to swordplay and whatnot, Ciri did learn that from Geralt, but I mean, that's not exactly unique. Anyone could technically learn how to wield a sword or how to fight as long as they were willing to do so. So Ciri ultimately lived among Witchers and spent her entire life being told that she should never wish to become one. Because Witchers are just as much monsters as the things they hunt. They're not humans, they can't breathe. Their insides are tempered to drink things that would kill ordinary people. And Geralt spends the entire books and the third game pretty much saving Ciri from becoming a Witcher. Only for CDPR to go, actually none of that matters and Geralt's entire upbringing of Ciri is just whatever now. and she's a Witcher anyway, even though Geralt would never want that for her? I'm gonna be honest, guys, I got a bad feeling. I'm getting Last of Us 2 vibes here. I'm genuinely worried that CDPR is going to pull a Joel and get Geralt axed early on in Witcher 4's story. And whatever the hell ends up killing Geralt causes Ciri to get put through the process so she can hunt whatever it is that killed him. I have a really bad feeling that that'll be the case here. I really do hope I'm wrong though. If CDPR wants to piss off their entire fan base, they will just pull a Last of Us and let Geralt be killed by a magical golf club too, or whatever is the equivalent for them. I truly hope that is not the case, but that's just speculation, so I'll just refrain from that for now. But as it stands, Ciri becoming a Witcher goes against everything that Geralt, Vesemir, Triss, Yen, and everyone else taught her not to be. And in my opinion, Ciri could still be the main character and not be a Witcher. After all, like I said, she was still trained like one. She's still a Witcher in mindset and combat skills and hunter awareness. She didn't need to go through the trial to be considered the main character, because fans, obviously, are already accepting of Ciri as a character to begin with. Plus, let's be real, her actual powers are already stronger than any Witcher anyway. She literally stops the White Frost. Geralt can't do that. It just feels like they're doing this to check a box, to break the ceiling, so to speak. To confirm that yes, female Witchers can exist, just ignore the fact the only mention of female Witchers is from a non-canon tabletop game. Now what then? Ciri is a monster who can't continue her bloodline because CDPR really wanted to just make a woman Witcher? Really, guys? Hell, maybe she can still have kids because the elven blood is just so good, I guess. Maybe that's why Ciri's voice actor is different in Witcher 4, and she looks like her face got enlarged in a PDF file. I don't know, maybe the trial went wrong and that's why Ciri's voice is deepened and her face got twisted. Who knows, maybe she sprouted a pair of balls with a schlong while she was at it too, cause screw it, if canon doesn't matter, just do whatever you want, right? Give Ciri bat wings and a lizard tail, let's just throw the lore out of the window and get gnarly with it, cause nothing matters anymore. I just hope the reason why CDPR did this wasn't cause some DEI advocate inside their company was told that women can't be Witchers, and then they put the CDPR team through unconscious bias training like Rockstar's devs had to, and eventually brainwashed the leadership into believing that men and women are biologically the exact same, so therefore women can be Witchers because gender means nothing anyways. I was also attacked for this too, so True Vanguard, who's a Destiny shill of all people, attacked me as well. He called me a non-fan for my take, but I don't personally believe that we should care what a Destiny yes-man thinks about anything. Destiny as a game got cooked with gender identity for years. Tons of characters in that game over time got turned gay or whatever else was considered socially in at the time. Because you know us knowing that Saint 14 and Osiris like mounting each other was more important than the actual quality of life updates that Destiny desperately needed. And Bungie is cooked anyway. Tons of layoffs, Destiny 2 was all but dead, and of course instead of calling Bungie out ever for these things, people like True Vanguard, like the shill that he is, just lapped up whatever Bungie gave him so that he could get free access to future stuff. Case in point, True Vanguard's an idiot and needs to stay in his lane. Him alongside other fence-sitters like Actman, Keith, and many others, they all sat by and allowed video games to become a hellscape for actual years without lifting a finger or calling things out themselves. All because they were afraid of the backlash that I'm currently living through for actually having the balls to put my name on the line and say the things they know are happening in video games but are far too entrenched and scared to speak out against themselves. It's okay, Vanguard or Actman and all the other yes men and women who do nothing but lap up what the industry gives them. I mean, look at what me and my buddies have done in just 9 months of combining our powers. Me, Grums, Yellow Flash, Hypnotic, Smash JT, Vera Dark, Potentially Criminal, Madam Savvy, some guy on phone, Dash, Melanie Mac, Fandom Pulse, That Park Place, Geeks and Gamers, That Star Wars Girl, Verbal Riot, and so many others have all done our parts to change this industry for the better. The fact these morons push back against us when we are fixing the things they know in their hearts are deeply wrong with this industry, it tells me just how entrenched these people are and how genuinely terrified they have become of even being considered as stepping out of line. They know that gender identity nonsense has ran through video games by activists for years. They know this, but they've always refused to speak up against it. Because if they do, then Daddy Company number 3000 will send them a game code early, or a plushie toy with a fancy butt plug that they can shove up their ass for being good fence sitters. I and others have done more in 9 months in changing this industry than most of these people have done in their entire online careers combined. If it was up to people like True Vanguard or Actman and others, you would be drowning right now in identity politics. You would be silenced for speaking out. You would get gaslighted into enjoying these things that you know deep down in your soul are not good for the art of this medium. It's why I am here doing what I'm doing, because I do not allow or see these people, or the IGNs, which by the way, that place got hit with mass layoffs too recently, to speak for me when it comes to video games anymore. You do not speak for me. You do not represent me. Because I cannot trust any of these fence-sitting, bellyache-holding man-children to say what needs to be said to fix things. I will not stop what I am doing. You can attack me all you want. All you're doing is proving time and again that what I'm saying and what I'm doing is resonating, and deep down in your heart of hearts, you know that pisses you off. Especially true Vanguard. The guy's viewer base is cooked already. All that shilling for corporations, and for what exactly? Maybe if you're a good enough boy, Vanguard, Bungie will send you a statue of Osiris giving Sane 14 the work from behind, as a thank you for being the good little boy that you are, for never speaking out against anything that this industry wills upon its customers and player bases. You think Gamergate 2 just existed out of nowhere? You think we just do this because of the money? You actually think that I want Witcher to get cooked with DEI? Are you kidding me right now? All I want for video games is to become genuine artistic experiences that stop ruining things for the sake of messages that are designed to talk down to players. I cannot leave this future of video games in the hands of the old guard of YouTube. I just can't. Because it's because of these people that things were allowed to run amok like they have for so long already and get as bad as they did. Had some of these YouTubers and industry people had the courage to step out of the crowd and actually say what they really thought for once in their lives, maybe, just maybe, we wouldn't be where we are right now. But instead, when your male heroes are getting their brains crushed with golf clubs, your games are removing gender all over the place, your microtransactions are completely out of control, and the game developers these days have become so comfortable that they almost on a daily basis think that it's righteous to spit on the very customers that they are here to serve. We have to realize that, come on everyone, we have a problem here. And the panacea to this ailment is not to sit on our backs and continue to let these activists, these freaks, these monsters, to continue to have their way with us. And for anyone who attacked me for speaking my mind, don't worry, I'll keep fighting for you as well, even though you hate me. Because you know deep in your heart that you wish you had the power or balls to put your entire livelihood on the line, and your reputation, for something you actually believed in for once. But you don't, and you know it. That's why you sit in the crowd with your chin down, looking at the pavement, hoping nobody catches your eye in the crowd. For the first time in a long time, players have a collective voice, a true way of actually speaking out against the lunacy that has ravaged its media for far too long. They came after me when I said that CDPR was full of DEI, then I proved them wrong. They came after me when I said that Dragon Age Veilguard was a disaster and ruined the legacy of that world. They came after me when I said that Ghost of Yote had underlying messaging. And then these developers come out and talk to me in secret, and then I tell you things like how I said that Ubisoft is currently in a war to keep its soul from Tencent buying them. And people went, no, you're wrong, that's not happening, you're lying, only for every goddamn website on this planet to confirm what I said to you guys a month and a half later after I said it. You are not angry at me, you fence-sitting freaks. You're angry at yourselves because you lack the resolve to actually stand for the things that you know to be right. So keep fence-sitting, keep attacking me, calling me names, or attacking my physical appearance. Whatever it is that makes you feel morally justified as you continue to change nothing about anything, and just continue to live your NPC lives where you've been conditioned by your peers to shut your mouths and always keep your voices down. You do not and never will speak for me again, because you have failed me and others for years by sitting on your power while refusing to do nothing but allow everyone and everything to burn so that you hope your little island of paradise stays untouched. I will not stop, and you will never silence me. I will fix this industry. When it starts to heal, I won't even ask for a thank you, because I'll know that deep down in your soul, you knew that what I was doing all along was the right decision. But don't come after me when you know the real grifters are the people that are shilling millions of dollars in consultancy fees and DEI nonsensical agenda crap that is ruining your favorite game studios and franchises already. Like even when Jason Schreier, another cultist of the agenda, tells you that GTA 6 will not make fun of certain groups, the usual fence-sitters will go, well, that's fine because something, I'm an idiot. These grifters in these companies are laughing at you. Your hesitation is letting them get away with murder constantly. And instead, you're bending every joint in your body to them while saying thank you very much. Get out of my face, you fence-sitters. You are as disappointing as your content is. Now get back in line and let people like me and others continue to risk our entire livelihoods so that your futures can be better. I also want to talk about Intergalactic now before I finish this video. That game is the epitome of everything I spoke about in this video already. It looks like Naughty Dog has learned absolutely nothing from their past failures at all, so one of my sources, the same one I spoke to about Assassin's Creed Shadows, told me some stuff about Naughty Dog's Intergalactic. First, from what I was told, Naughty Dog ran multiple test screenings for this Intergalactic game prior to its announcement. And the general consensus was that nobody was too impressed with what they saw. A lot of the internal discussions too, or that even the more sane woke devs are sick of this stuff, if you can believe it. And this source has worked with plenty of games people before, and yeah, Naughty Dog internally is pretty split on this game from its direction as well. But this is Neil Druckmann's baby, as I'm told. It's apparently inspired by Akira and Cowboy Bebop. Wonder if Neil remembers that there's scenes in those inspirations where rioters get absolutely wrecked by police. Wouldn't surprise me if that someone makes it in the game too. And they are looking at this game and its reception as the last hurrah, if you will, from Naughty Dog before Sony steps in and forces changes. Basically, Intergalactic is Naughty Dog's last chance at this girl boss agenda pushing nonsense is what I'm being told. As I said in a previous video, Sony Japan is winning the internal battle for Sony's soul right now over Sony America. Sony America specifically is who you can blame pretty much for stuff like Concord, Intergalactic, Last of Us 2, the Horizon remake, remaster, and so on. They're the ones that are really pushing the woke stuff, whereas Sony Japan is against it, and they're using their power to make Sony America step in line more, and, you know, stop wasting hundreds of millions of dollars on stuff that nobody wants. But this shouldn't surprise me because apparently Naughty Dog internally was also really mad about the outcome of the election as well. And they're making this as their sort of punk rock, we're not going to take it liberal, hell yeah, against right-wing stuff apparently. Honestly, Intergalactic, for the most part, it looked fine, I guess. I mean, the monster alien, that looked very generic and not at all like something I would expect from Naughty Dog. And the ship and the aesthetic, all of it, yeah, it's kind of played out at this point, but it looks nice. I would never say that Naughty Dog isn't full of talented artists or gameplay designers, because it's not true. They are genuinely good at making things look great and all of that. But I mean, the fact that this is the real first game Neil Druckmann is making where he doesn't have the support or know-how of someone like Bruce Straley, who by the way was integral to stuff like Uncharted and The Last of Us being there to guide him, as well as Amy Hennig, who was the actual creator of Uncharted and also ushered in Naughty Dog's golden era, if you will. So this is the first time Neil is actually making something completely devoid of those mammoth talented developers not being involved with him at all in any way. I guess you could say The Last of Us 2 was Neil as well, but that proves my point. The game sold very poorly according to Sony. Sure, it won the awards and all of that, but let's be real, most companies would rather have billions of dollars than some dinky plastic or glass award that says Best Art Direction or something anyway. Last of Us Part 2 also won Game of the Year at the beginning of the ESG Golden Era in 2020, so that was kind of expected to happen as well. And seeing what Neil is doing here with Intergalactic so far anyway, from the character designs and all of that, yeah, it's giving that last hurrah, we're gonna go full girl boss when nobody wants this stuff energy. Could it be fun to play? Probably. I think Naughty Dog is obviously talented. They can and have made many great games, but I do think in the past maybe 10 years especially, they have largely become a vanity project studio, if that makes sense. Like, they made this big success with Last of Us 1, and they were kind of just given carte blanche to do whatever. And since then, in my opinion anyway, they haven't really reached the highs of the first Last of Us or Uncharted games since then. I have no problem with Naughty Dog making a new franchise either. I actually welcome it because I don't know about you, but I am sick of The Last of Us already. All the remasters and remakes in the show, I'm just so done with that world. It's so overdone, dude. So who knows, it could be at least fun to play, and I'm sure that Intergalactic will look nice in motion. But I take one look at that main character and it immediately tells me what I pretty much need to know. It's going to have loads of diversity, lots of women, probably a ton of evil white men, and all the usual things we came to expect from these sorts of games. I should also pivot back for a second to Witcher before I forget, but the Steam forums for Witcher are also already banning people for speaking out against Witcher 4. As you can see here on screen, this user pretty much just expressed their opinion and then they got banned outright by the forum saying that he was spewing culture war stuff, which okay, but it's still valid. The fact they're banning people for speaking their mind is stupid. By the way, this was on a Witcher 2 Steam forum as well. I really dislike how moderators just silence people and don't allow them to talk about what is so obviously something that is a hot topic issue like this. It reeks of censorship, and the mods may claim that it's to save the forum, but in reality, it's just one group policing the other's opinions and messages because they don't agree with it. The same stuff happens all the time, of course. But going back to Naughty Dog again, Druckmann claims that Intergalactic is a return to their action-adventure roots, which is cool, don't get me wrong, but good lord, dude, one look at that main character model just tells me everything. And sure, they'll call you sexist, racist, whatever when you point out these sorts of things, but Naughty Dog's protagonist is yet another woman who is purposely looking ugly, or the Siri thing where her literal bone structure and face are completely different. But all it really is, as always, is just reacting to patterns, and like the people who don't want you noticing said patterns will shame you, but it's monumental that you continue calling things out, unlike these other YouTubers who sat around for 10 years, doing anything but fixing what was clearly already broken because they didn't want to hurt their bottom lines. I'm sure this won't be the last time that I go viral for my opinion on video games. It definitely won't be the last time I get attacked either. Hell, I get attacked on Twitter like every second of every day. You think your insults hurt me? I see what makes you cheer. And like always, the people up in arms against will always stay in line like they always do and just follow the flock like the good NPCs they are. So it ends up being left to us to continue this crusade in the future. DEI is clearly on the back pedal. It's dying, they know it, and they're scared. And they're going to do their damnness to get us to accept it, and I implore all of you to stay vigilant, keep asking questions, and keep listening to that part of your brain that recognizes these patterns. They'll call you crazy. But the only people who call you crazy are the actually insane ones. Unlike True Vanguard, I won't wear the DEI butt plug and shill for these companies. Miss me with that. I'll keep going no matter how much heat they throw my way. All they're doing is making me stronger and proving why I need to keep doing this. So thank you for watching. Subscribe, thanks for supporting the actual truth in a sea of chaos, and take care of yourselves. They won't stop me, and that scares them. And just wait until what I have next. See you in the next one.